Hi everyone, thank you for joining me today. Hope everyone is doing really good. This is going to be a general pick a card reading. It's going to be focused on what's going on in the connection in your life right now. Whether it is with somebody you're with currently, someone on your mind, apart, we'll let the cards give us the messages. We'll look at specifically, it'll be focused on what are the good things in this connection, the positive attributes, what are the more challenging attributes that are making this connection difficult, and some advice from Spirit and the universe. We'll use these three different tarot decks. This will be I'll make this pile 1, pile 2, and pile 3. So I'll pull from 3 different decks, and I'll clarify with some other tarot and oracle cards as well. So check out the message for the pile that you're drawn to the most. If you find yourself drawn to more than one pile, listen to those messages as well. I feel like there's going to be messages here for somebody today, so take a moment. Okay, and we'll proceed. So this is going to be the first pile, which is this tumbled river rock or stone. Okay. So we'll focus on the current. We'll get a snapshot of the current energy of this connection, the positive attributes of this connection, why it works, some of the more challenging aspects of this connection, why it may or may not be having difficulty, and some advice for the moment. Remember that energies are current, things can change, and we all have free will to make decisions that can change situations for the better or worse. One more shuffle. I've seen the 6 of Cups at the bottom of this deck a couple of times while I've been shuffling. Queen of Cups. I felt like looking at it one more time. Okay. Okay, so we're going ahead with pile 1. Okay, so this is for pile 1. So for those of you who picked this tumbled river rock, the connection seems to be currently the energy of this connection. There might be a little bit of silence or some inaction in this connection right now. Both of you or one of you might have felt that you were trying to understand the other person because it felt different from when it started. Sometimes perhaps it feels like there's a divide in understanding each other, or someone's made decisions in their life where they're trying to appreciate and respect the decisions the other person is making. It's possible that one person feels that they have made some sacrifices in terms of their perspective on the issue, or trying to accommodate the other person, which may or may not, the other person may or may not feel that that's been acknowledged properly. I'm going to clarify this one first before moving on. But, yeah, let me look at this. Okay, so it's possible, okay. So in this connection, yeah, there's some distance, stagnation, some waiting, one person waiting for the other. There could be some mirroring or feeling like, one person might want to reach out and talk, or one's waiting for the other, feeling a little stuck. Um, it could have to do with something that happened in the past in this connection, where somebody felt hurt by the other individual's words or actions, or something that happened. Someone might have felt that the other was not focusing with the energy that they felt that this relationship deserved, or that they as an individual even deserved. There is a potential that there could have also been some kind of wrongdoing, and possibly even the feeling of betrayal because of one person's selfishness, almost, possibly. At least someone viewed it potentially as selfishness, or just too much of a focus on themselves. It could have been on work, it could have been energy to other people as well, about trying to get their own house in order. The thing is not putting the priorities of the relationship or you as the not prioritizing it in a way that you felt comfortable with. And also keep in mind the energies could be reversed. However, although that might be the current status or the current energy of this connection, the positive things about this connection is that you two can both get along and work well together and be supportive to each other when you're both at your best. It's possible that you met through a shared interest, or at work, or at school. It doesn't have to be, but you appreciate each other. You appreciate each other's talents. You like each other's company. You also enjoy each other's friendship. And you don't feel judged in the connection itself. However, this issue which happened, again, whether it was something external that happened, an external influence, or if it was just somebody not prioritizing giving this connection the time it deserved, needs to be addressed. And that's one of the difficulties or challenges in this connection right now, that things aren't fair, that someone feels that something needs to be corrected. It's potentially that someone's waiting for an apology. That could be you. And it doesn't have that it has to even be a really big apology or something massive. It's more about recognizing and being able to communicate and acknowledge each other's feelings about what happened. Yeah. Okay. So it looks like something did happen. And until that issue is addressed, it seems that will continue to be a thorn in the side of this connection. It was something possibly, and I'll speak to it as if it's you, but roles could be reversed, that it was also something that really it could have been sudden, but it's also just something you never expected. So it took you by surprise in the sense that it's something that you never expected. So it could have been slow building, or it could have been sudden, but it's really not how you foresaw things going when you guys first were connecting. The fact is that at some point also in your connection, and maybe still today, you guys could talk. You guys could really be able to feel like you can navigate issues and hear each other's perspectives and try to respect each other. And it's almost like right now there feels some challenge around that respect, not because it could be that someone's done something disrespectful, but it's also because this thing that's blocking the two of you, which could be, like I said, a physical interference, like or something that had to do with how your connections played out in the past, that's not being addressed with the same tools that you guys have in the past. And that's really the challenge in this connection right now. So look at this card for a second. Someone also didn't handle it. Someone's not, you or your person are not happy with how the difficulties have been handled. It hasn't been graceful. It hasn't been the way that you guys thought you could be able to resolve things, because usually there was a collaborative spirit between the two of you, and now things seem a little bit to be in disarray. But you or your person or even your connection is trying to stay composed, but something's setting it off. The advice that we have here from Spirit or the universe is talking a little bit about maybe stepping back from the situation a little bit, emotionally withdrawing to take stock of what's happened. However you've been taking stock up until now doesn't seem to have yielded any results, or ones that are effectively moving this forward without being in a stalemate. So instead of thinking about it, it's about emotionally withdrawing a little bit, recapturing your own energy to try to solve the issue between the two of you. Yeah, so by stepping back from this connection, Spirit and Universe wants you to think about, how can you grow? Can this connection grow? Can you grow in a way that takes you back to what's positive? So the things that are good about your connection, can you guys resolve what's happening to take to emphasize and amplify those things that are good? Sometimes we can't go back. It can never always go back. But this is for those who picked pile 1, this is about really a need to emphasize and amplify the positive in this connection. I'm just gonna... Right, okay. So, yeah, again, this has to do with whatever has put this connection on pause, what has given somebody, opened up their eyes and made them rethink what happened between the two of you, or what's going on, or something someone said or did, that remains at the crux of the issue. So when you take a step back and try to look at this from a different lens of what is best for both you, your person, and the relationship to grow, think about the structure it needs. Think about that which has dissolved, or that which has been destroyed, although destroyed is a bit of a tough word maybe, that which has been damaged, might be a better word, damaged by the actions or lack of actions. And is there a way to actually heal that particular damage? It seems relevant to that particular damage in terms of even if it's an apology or a conversation, because until that's addressed, it seems like this connection is not going to be able to move forward. There needs to be movement in this connection, and Spirit is advising that if you feel that it's you who needs to take that emotional withdrawal and find that wisdom, that's what's going to allow you, that's what's going to allow this connection to grow. So this is the advice here. So looking for the structure to rebuild. And it also seems that both parties, for those who are wondering, it seems that whichever side you're on, both of you do want to try to rebuild this. regardless of what this person may or may not have done, or if they have or have not apologized, or even if the conversation hasn't been there, the other person wants to rebuild this. That's one of the positive elements of your guys' connection. But if someone doesn't do something, it's going to start to feel like someone's giving up. So that's what we have for you, pile 1. Move on to the second pile. So good luck to those of you who resonated with this pile. So we'll move on to pile 2, which is going to be, this card, I think. So this is pile 2, which is these cards, these 2 stones. So it'll be the same format again. Looking at current energies for this connection. What's the good? What's the difficult bits? And what advice? Roles can be reversed. And also, these are for current energies. We always have free will to make decisions for the good, to improve situations, and also we can have the free will to make decisions that are not always in our best interest. So keep that in mind as we pull from these cards. This is a slippery deck. Okay. This is very much a slippery deck. Okay. Okay, so for this connection, a couple of major arcanas. Let me just tune into these cards. The colors are really striking me. So this is for those who picked pile 2. Okay, so this is a strong, this seems to be a strong connection. It is one that's you might have a strong intuitive bond between each other. There could be some silence in this connection, certain things that are unspoken, but there seems to be, if there is no communication, definitely there is 5D communication, dreams and whatnot. You or your person might be consulting things like astrology, or trying to tune into your your third eye chakra, just like trying to really tune in with each other potentially. This could have been, this is some kind of a strong connection. So it's either a strong connection like in the 3D where it was like a long-term commitment or marriage, or it's one where you just feel a very intense bond, regardless of official labels. Yeah, okay. Yeah, it seems that there's some kind of silence. There's emotional and potentially physical distance in this connection. Someone is doing deep thinking, someone's reflecting about this connection as well as their own life, but as well as about this connection. One person here could prefer to stay up at night or be drawn to the night hours. They also might like things like astronomy or astrology. even though there's this energetic distance, as well as, like I said again, also physical distance here, and at times both of you might be wondering if you're still as connected as you are to the other. And one of you might be getting hits and wondering if the other person's getting this hit, like, of each other's feelings. And you probably are, but you're also probably both potentially at times questioning that yourselves. So it's this kind of push and pull between feeling the strength of this connection and knowing for sure you guys are connected and absolutely in sync with each other, but at the same time maybe questioning that bond itself, perhaps because it is so deep. Okay, so in terms of, I think both of you want to work on this connection. Both of you, you guys have either, you might have experienced something together where you shared, like, you shared things from your past and you connected over listening to each other's, issues about past relationships or each other's family issues or career goals or whatever. Like, you've shared some emotional depth between each other. And you both respect that that's special, and you don't want that to, you don't want it to all be for naught. You recognize the investment that you've put in, and you're not ready yet to emotionally withdraw. As well, it's possible that if, depending on the nature of this connection, if and when you guys ever didn't see eye to eye, or if you had fights or arguments, that you were able to work them out, that you guys were able to resolve things without necessarily just shutting down all the time. And that even when things were difficult or dark, that you both tried in your own way to look for the positive in what connects you. And both of you, or one of you for sure, but I think potentially both of you, and one might have inspired the other, to be able to really delve into their subconscious, potentially even do the shadow work, and absorb the difficult parts of conversations, or show that they're strong enough to withstand things. Okay. 1, 2. Did I want to? Ooh, okay. Let's see. Okay, yeah, strong cards are lots. We have lots of, like, we almost have 1, 2, 3, 4, we have like 5 major arcanas here. So this is something, if you've been thinking deeply about things, this makes sense. This is a important connection in your life that's going through an important phase as well in its transformation. Both of you want to put the time, in terms of the positive things, both of you want to put the time, or you're willing to put in the time to try and address the issues, if there are. And both of you have a certain type of patience, and that might not be like a traditional form of patience, but somehow you have patience for each other. Ultimately, this is a connection where both of you want the same thing, although it either doesn't feel like that to each other or doesn't feel like that to the outside world, but you do. There's something that connects the deeper sides of you, and you guys recognize that this is valuable, and it's not to be shied away from. Potentially even some, like, more primal, primitive brain type of work. In your emotions, in your own life, in your past. One of you might have revealed, like, someone might have shared some of, with the other person, either things that they are, processing or have been ashamed or worried about sharing in the past with other people, and one of you have shared that with the other, and the other's been able to, absorb that, and that's been actually healthy, even though it may be to the outside, or even while the two of you are in it, you thought, is this good? It actually is. In terms of the challenges in this connection, there needs to be, so one of the things, even though the positive can be like exploring the subconscious, delving those deeper parts of the 5D, sometimes the structure around that is complicated. Sometimes we can lack structure when we, you know, delve too deep into shadow work, or even experiencing or trying to doing the healing work itself can be an esoteric process. So one of the challenges here is that some you guys might be binded to something that you've shared or something in your own individual past, and there's difficulty to have an effective transformation of that. There again, about trusting in the process and trusting in the universe, and having faith in the process is something that, given some of the challenges that you guys might have faced, or the challenges, or the difficult subject matters you've dealt with, has maybe at times shaken your faith as well. So that could be something that is making the connection difficult at times. I'm just going to tune into these cards. Also potentially holding on to things that don't need to be held on to, especially when people have, a very strong connection, or they've put a lot of effort into trying to make it work, or one person's, going through things in their own life which has required a lot of, deep emotional effort. Knowing what to keep working on and what to let go, and what's, what are healthy memories versus what are unhealthy memories. I'm going to look at the advice first here. There's something else here. I'm going to try and tune in. So, in terms of the advice Spirit has for you, it's going to help connect all this together. Okay, yeah. Another thing is, so related to the advice and the challenges here, is that there could, even though this is a strong bond and one where I think people connect well, there's not enough talking. There's not enough of actual saying what needs to be said in clear and articulate ways, so that everyone can understand each other without feeling hurt, or without any misunderstandings. Again, as both of you individually and as a team have fallen, or not fallen, have gone deeper into realms of heavier topics, communicating that becomes more challenging. That could also be one of the challenges, is that in some way there needs to be that transformation from the shadow work into structure. It could also be, for some of you, the need for more clear terms of reference of what is this connection or relationship, like what is it going to become, like what is the direction here. So even though this really strong bond has been created, it just can't float like a raft in the middle of the ocean. It's possible that someone is seeking a sense of direction, or both of you are, but there's some trouble achieving that because of something both or one of you feel a little bound to, in a way that is not serving your higher good. These things need to be spoken out loud. It could even start individually with things like just talking, talking to yourself, in the sense of like journaling, or doing, however you want to like process your thoughts, and also reflecting now in terms of not just analyzing the issue at hand and all the psychology behind it, but also learning to make a decision. Also realizing that when you're making a decision, sometimes make sure that you're not comparing apples to oranges. Think about, it seems like this is a relationship where there's a lot of understanding of deeper issues, like there's a lot of research that's been done, but at some point some action needs to be taken, even if it's just mental action or verbal action. And that first step is sometimes the hardest. Rely on not just your feelings. I think this is one where the feelings are strong, but think about things in the 3D. Consider the 3D and what's good for you as you try to make a choice moving forward. Also, don't worry about other people who might be watching your decision making around this, meaning whether it's you or your person or your friends or your family. Make sure that you find the balance that you need. Yeah. That keeps you feeling stable and being able to keep moving on towards becoming more productive in your connection and in your own life. So as you move forward, focus on your throat chakra. Make your decisions wisely. There are different options in front of you as well. That's another thing you might not see yet. You might be stuck in this ocean of feelings and different thoughts and emotions, but you actually have options in front of you, and you need to reflect on those options carefully from different perspectives. It doesn't always have to be deep. I feel like there's been a lot of depth in this connection. And then even maybe look at the pros and cons, make a list or something, but do it with your whole heart. And I see that this is a connection where the heart is there, but realize that there are consequences to the different decisions. But don't be afraid of making those decisions. But as long as you know that you have taken the time and the effort and you're using your wisdom, you have wisdom here. If you're making the decisions wisely, you don't have to be scared. And also vocalize yourself. Sometimes you might think you're vocalizing, or your person might, but the other person might be feeling left in the dark. If that's you, let that person know, and if the energies are reversed, make sure to vocalize what you have to say. So that's what we have for pile 2. So good luck to pile 2. And remember, again, these are current energies, so they can change. Okay, so what's our next pile? The third pile. So with the third pile is this glass heart. So we'll do it the same way as the others. Look at the current energy. What are the good things? What are the challenging things? And some advice. Energies can change. Roles can be reversed. We all have free will. So use this as guidance from the universe. Okay. Another one with some these are stuck together. Okay, I'll take them both. Interesting. There's some connection here. All the piles, I often find this with the pick a card readings, is the piles are connected to each other in interesting and sometimes unexpected ways. So this is, for those who picked the third pile, the red glass heart. This is a connection where, again, it seems like there is a little bit of quietness, silence. Maybe you two aren't quite speaking with each other. One might not know what the other is thinking, but again, I feel a strong connection here. This is more of a dream state connection. Both of you are kind of okay with this silence, but what I mean by both of you are okay, I think nobody really wants to rock the boat here. It's possible that somebody is itching to change the dynamic, but that person wants to give the other person space, or vice versa, and then you end up both kind of respectfully giving each other the time you need, and then you feel safer in the unknown than the unknown, like the devil you know versus the devil you don't. Although I don't think there's any devil stuff here. This is a connection where you like potentially being quiet together, meaning you don't always need to be doing something. You're okay together in your quiet moments. You can regenerate each other. There's a safety in this connection, although at the same time there's a little bit of uneasiness over that which is unsaid. It goes both ways here. Okay, this could also be this could be slower moving for one person's liking than the other. There's a lot of kind of pure emotion here. Somebody really wants to be able to give emotion and love, and someone really wants to be able to receive it, but it might not be happening in the way or the timing that one individual expects. But it does move. It does move. It could be a situation of like one step forward, two steps back, but it ultimately does move. And so up until now, there's been, there's a kind of a satisfied but yet uneasy satisfied energy. In terms of what are the good things in this connection, there's a desire for both of you. Both of you are trying to align your heart and your head. You're thinking equally with you're trying to think equally with your thoughts and what you feel, meaning you don't want them to be at odds with each other. So if you find you're overthinking, maybe you're trying to, bring your feelings back into it, and vice versa. You're trying not to let distractions get in the way. You're aware of what you guys need to focus on. Now, whether you do it or not is a different thing. There's a fairness here between the two of you, where you both try not to pass judgment on each other or their actions. A desire to try to understand each other. Yeah, there's patience. So in giving each other space, there's a natural patience here. There's you have the strength of this connection lies in the ability to make choices wisely, to make assessments, and to be able to, even though you might be analyzing things, probably not, you guys are able to pull yourselves out, or one can help the other pull them out of getting overthinking without getting too in your head. So and looking at the bigger picture, and being able to dream about a future even though it might not be in reality yet. And also knowing that at times, like opposites can attract, that kind of thing. I just got that. In terms of some of the challenges in this connection, interesting. Some of the challenges in this connection might have to do with that which is unspoken. It's possible so perhaps this quietness and this, patience and this giving space despite there being, or not despite, giving space despite maybe some of the actions people want to take or some of the results people want to see. Some of the challenges are therefore that I think one person in this connection more than the other feels like they're, in terms of the give and take emotionally, could be a little bit off. Someone is not feeling fully fulfilled in terms of their emotional needs, even though they know it's there within grasp, but it's not kind of presenting itself in the 3D, there needs to be more communication and action in this connection. Even if there's communication, there needs to be more a positive movement towards like that shared goal. Someone may be having trouble saying what they need to say, and that itself is starting to, create a kind of a undesirable weight or heaviness on your heart, because it's not good to hold your emotions in for too long. So you don't want to burst. You're trying to control yourself a little bit. This could be both of you, but I think it's both of you in the sense that whoever this feels this way more, the other person detects it, but maybe not to its full degree, or doesn't understand how hard it is for the other person. It could be at times, sometimes you might both feel like you're, in terms of emotionally, you're not on the same page, in terms of timelines, and that things are not moving as fast as they need to be, or they're moving too fast in a direction away from what you want it to. Like it's not exactly going in the way you want it. Let's see. In terms of the advice for this connection at this point, then, the strength, whatever makes you guys strong, is also what okay. Yeah. Okay. So, this is interesting. Okay. So, two of the cards in the advice from Spirit and the Universe are also showing up within the cards that are there in terms of the positives and the strong points of this connection. So again, we see that focusing, I think this was similar maybe to pile one, I can't remember which of them, focusing on that which makes the two of you feel stronger and happier and healthier is what ultimately Spirit is advising you to do, which is continue to have patience for each other and in this connection to let things grow, but make sure things have been planted, that things are going the right direction, that in an analogy, that the seed is getting water and sunlight, not just patience blindly. To continue to dream big, but that one has to eventually choose, that you can be introspective in your thoughts, but you need to be able to, you can't be afraid of making that decision. Don't be afraid of the things that might not work. Try to focus on the things that are good. If there's been any issues in this connection in the past which were a bit painful or hurtful, or in one of yours' past, which might be the reason that this one is having a hard time really getting to where it needs to be, this connection, not to, again, to absorb the difficult experiences, but not to make that part of the decision making, and not to dwell on it. And if you find that you're feeling sad, or you're feeling, there's pain and there's despair, then to move away from that, whatever that is, whether that is giving yourself a break from the connection or discussing it with your person. Don't allow a potential festering sadness to grow, or even for just to reside in the corner. It needs to be cleaned up. Like, there's no reason to carry a little bit of regret, or just to carry around a sense of not feeling fulfilled, even if you think you're doing it for a higher good, and even if you think you're doing it for this other person. The cards here are indicating not to do that. That to have a new beginning, something needs to be communicated. Things need to get aligned here. So it's only patience, and it's only time and openness as long as there is forward movement. Without forward movement, and without forward movement at a pace that makes sense for both people, it might not go anywhere. So, rely on your strengths to make that happen. And if there is silence or distance between you, let them know of those things that are causing you the heartache or the difficulty in your feeling disconnected from this person. Okay, so that's what we have for you, pile 3. So hopefully there were some messages here that resonated for somebody and has given us some guidance from the universe. Make sure to like and subscribe, and then you can be notified of when we do live streams, and I try to answer some questions one-on-one. Okay, everyone, take care. Have a lovely day. I'll talk to you later. Bye.